Hey everybody, I know. Get off your knees, right? Well, I can't do that today. I know some of you guys, it bothers you that I'm on my knees a lot because I don't have a workbench. But in this case, I can't put the General on a workbench. What we're going to talk about today is shock absorbers. Not necessarily Polaris shock absorbers or General shock absorbers, but ATV shock absorbers, UTV shock absorbers, and snowmobile shock absorbers. I got to show you something I discovered here today, and I want to share this because I think it's important. Let's get into it. All right, so today what we're going to talk about specifically is rebuildable shocks, especially rebuildable shocks that have a coil over the shock, a coil spring. Okay, so let's just say coil over shock suspension, okay? So the main component of the suspension is the spring, and the dampener is the shock absorber. That means you can be riding down the road and everything looks fine, except there's a big problem with the shock absorbers, okay? And that's what happened to me, okay? So I got our KFI Poly Pro snowplow off, and I'm getting the machine ready for trail riding this summer. And I looked at the shocks and I realized something pretty important. So let's get down here. Come on down here and let me show you what's going on. All right, here's the right-hand rear shock absorber. And this is pretty normal. You know, when it comes to ATV and UTV shock absorbers, what I'm going to show you is something that's pretty easy to identify, but yet maybe not so easy on snowmobiles, and I'll explain in a minute. But you can see here's our coil spring and then the shock absorber, and these are Fox QS3 shocks. So they have a clicker up here that's an adjustment, soft, medium, and firm ride, and then the main shock absorber body is here. And you can see that it's pretty dirty. And this is how ATVs and UTVs get. They get dirty, which works to our advantage. Okay, so as you can see, everything is a uniform gray dirt color. Dirty, gray, the whole thing is gray. But let me show you this one. All right, this is the left rear, and you can see that here's that familiar gray again, but right down here is black. And you'll notice anywhere there's a seal, the dirt will be black, or the grime will be black. And that's a signal that fluid is leaking out of there, the hydraulic fluid. So here we've got a leaky seal down here, and then we've also got a leaky seal here. Another clue as far as what's going on is if you've got clicker shocks, you'll notice that the click is gone. The dial just moves freely. There's no detents in it. And that's a pretty good indication that you need to get your shocks rebuilt. So if suddenly the clicks disappear, but there's no obvious signs of fluid leaking, then that's a pretty good indication that you need shocks rebuilt. So either way, look for the dirt, the different colored dirt, or look for the clicks that are no longer there. All right, so here is the shocks off my Arctic Cat snowmobile. I replaced those this last year, and these are the originals. I didn't know it at the time because, looking at these, you can't tell the difference between the good one and the bad one. One of these is bad. And when I first looked at them, I didn't think there was anything wrong with them. But as I'm handling them, one of them, my hand got all greasy. And there again, just because there isn't a sign of dirt, because it's a snowmobile, that doesn't, there's another clue. So in this case, there was grease on one of them, or oil, a very fine oil. And you can't see it here, but you can see it. That's where the seal is. And I wiped off most of it. It was all over the threads and everything. But here we've got this plastic dust cap, and there's still oil in here. So if you put your finger in here like this and move it around, and look, there's the oil. So there's oil in there. This one is bad. It needs to be rebuilt. Fortunately, these shocks can be rebuilt. Most of them these days can. But you want to check with the manufacturer to make sure that you can rebuild the shocks. You might need new ones, but it would sure save you a lot of money if you didn't have to buy new ones, if you could just rebuild them. Okay, so back to the general here and trying to get these shocks off. Now, what I'm trying to tell you is that the shock absorbers and the springs come off as a single unit. So one of the great things about having a coil over shock situation here, where you've got a coil spring over the top of the shock, is it's basically two bolts. So there's a bolt at the top and a bolt at the bottom, and that's all you need to do is take off those bolts. The trick to it, though, is getting the whole thing up off in the air. So we want to get those rear tires off the ground to take all of the compression out of the springs. And so I'm going to do that. I'm going to raise the rear of the general up to get all the compression out of the springs, and then I'm going to take the two bolts off, and then it should just drop right out. All right, so here I've got the rear of the general up off the ground, and the tires are spinning freely. This is a good stable position. I've got a couple of jack stands here plus my jack all holding the back end up, and you can see the rear wheels are loose. So now I'm going to take the wheels off just to make it easier. Okay, so here we are, and you can see there the bottom bolt right there, and then the top bolt is up there. So all I got to do is loosen those two bolts, and then the whole thing will come out as a unit. While I'm here, of course, I'm going to check the brakes and just overall condition of everything, make sure there isn't any problem here. All right, those jack stands that I've got back there are on the frame. So the frame is pretty narrow down here at the back, so I'm not going to rock this too violently. But what I'm doing here is I'm just breaking these loose. Now, these have not been off since we bought the General. So really, these shocks have served us well. For them to go this long, I mean, it's, 8 years that these shock absorbers have been on there, and they've done extremely well. So the first thing I do here is pull the bottom bolt out, and it should be loose at this point. So I just be able to pull that bolt right out. See, there you go, pull the bolt out, and now that the whole shock and spring just kind of swings on the one bolt up above. So now all I have to do is get that other bolt off, and it's a little tighter up there than the bottom bolt. So it's gonna take me a little bit to figure out how to get in there, but I'll get that loose here, and then we'll get the shock out, and I'll show you what's going on next. All right, and there it comes out. Now what I'm going to do is put the bolts back in the spot where they came from. That way I don't lose them. The last thing I want to do is misplace one of those bolts. All right, so the shock shop is going to want the springs off, the bushings off, everything removed, and they want them clean. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and clean them. But the first thing I need to do is just kind of memorize the way that these go together here. So I want to make sure that the smaller spring, it's a two-piece spring here, and the smaller spring is on top, and then there's a vinyl bushing in between the two springs, and then the bigger spring. The next thing I want to do is measure the distance between the top of the locking collar and the head of the shock absorber there, to make sure that I know what the setting is, how much pretension is on that spring. Because we've got a locking collar that basically compresses the springs. That's how you adjust the suspension. But it's not rocket science. It doesn't have to be perfect. These threads are really, really fine. So it takes a long time to unthread these. And once the first locking collar is screwed down all the way to the end, then the second one, sometimes you can just spin the spring and the collar all at once. It just kind of spins off. That's why you have a locking collar, to keep that from happening on its own. But you can see I'm spinning the whole works by hand here. I don't need a wrench to do that. Once it's good and loose, now you can see that the spring is just kind of hanging there. There's a collar on the top too, and it's got a slit in it. And the whole purpose of the slit is so that you move the spring down, and then you should just be able to slide that collar right off. There it is. Now once that's off, then everything comes off. The spring, that extra little separator, the other spring, the whole works comes off. And now what you want to do is clean it up. I'm going to spin off those threaded locking collars, and then I'm also going to remove the bushings. Now, the bushings on this shock are kind of a plastic collar on the outside, and then there's a steel bushing on the inside. And all you got to do is pop one of those with like a screwdriver or something. Just pop one of the ends off, and then the whole thing comes out. When I put this all back together, I'll want to grease that really good so that there's plenty of grease in there. But for right now, all I need to do is clean everything and get it ready for shipping. The other thing I do when I organize all these, I take all of the pieces and I set them all together. So right where you can see I've got the rear wheel set off to the side, so the right-hand wheel is on the right side, and I'm just going to take all this stuff and set it there on top of the wheel and make sure it doesn't go anywhere. But if I need to, I can zip tie things so that I don't lose them. But everything goes together so that it all goes back the same way that it came off. All right, as you can tell, I'm not on my knees anymore. I've got the shock absorbers all packaged up, used up all of the bubble wrap I had laying around to protect these, make sure that they make it down to the shock shop in one piece. There's a form that they want you to fill out that's in there, as to kind of detail what you want done and the return address and all that stuff. But I'm going to end up calling them, and that's what I would suggest, is that no matter who you use, no matter if you have a form to fill out to send with it, or if it's somebody that you know, always call ahead, make sure that they understand what you want done, because now is the perfect time to not only rebuild them, if they're going to be a part anyway, now is the time to revalve them. And with my Arctic Cat snowmobile, that made a huge difference to revalve those shock absorbers. Big difference. And so, if there's a problem that you want to solve, if the ride quality isn't there, maybe it's a little harsh or maybe a little too soft or whatever, now is the time to revalve them too. Always good to call ahead. So with that, thanks for watching, and I hope I see you on the trail.